welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mary, and today's video is going to be the start of another reading vlog.
I should have told you that I loved you one more time.
So the theme for this reading vlog is reading books that Serena from A Wandering Mind gave 5 stars. Serena is one of my earliest booktube friends. She has participated in a couple of the Jane Austen Book Club live shows. I'll link the stuff for that below if you haven't heard of it or seen it, or if you're new to my channel and you're not aware of what I'm talking about. But Serena is an Italian booktuber, I guess. I think she lives in the US full-time now, but she's, at the time of me filming this, she's in Italy, but I think she's just visiting. I think she primarily lives in the US now, but I have 3 books that I'm planning on reading for the duration of this vlog. The first of which I started last night. I'm about 50 pages into, and that is Homegoing by Jessie, which is a historical fiction / multiple generation family tale, and it follows the divergence of a family tree in Ghana. The first timeline that we follow are related somehow. I don't really want to spoil how, because I didn't know. You might know if you read the blurb. I have not read the blurb, but I was surprised when I found out how they were related. But one of them ends up marrying a British soldier who is in Ghana. It's in the end of the 18th century, and he is one of the soldiers in charge of the slave trade. And the other relative, I suppose, is enslaved and sold into slavery. And so I think it's following their family tree as they, shimmy down the descendants. I'm not making any sense. At some point from there, we're going to follow the descendants of these people as they are interacting and sort of seeing how different their lives are. There's also a family tree at the beginning of this book, which follows the 2 branches down to present day. Doesn't have years on it, so I don't know if it's actually present day, but I'm enjoying this so far. I'm really excited to read something from Jessie because I've been wanting to read stuff from her for quite some time. There's another book that is also on my TBR. I don't remember what it's called, but if I do remember, I will put it on the screen here. The second book that I'm planning on reading for this vlog is The Hate You Give by Angie, which I cannot believe I have not read yet.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Everyone raved about this book, I think was it 2017 or 2018? Or was it even older than that? So this is a book about the Black Lives Matter movement, but it's about a 16-year-old girl named Star Carter who I believe lives in a poor neighborhood, but she goes to school in a wealthy, primarily white school. And so it's her sort of living in both of these worlds, but then I think she witnesses someone getting shot by the police, and she joins the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's about that story and how that affects her and her personal life. So I know that this has a prequel, so if I enjoy this, I hopefully will read the prequel to this. I've heard Ashley from Bookish Realm talk about how I think she reread this and it did not hold up to how hyped it was in 2017, so I'm interested to see how I'm going to feel about this, because obviously I'm reading it with 4 years of sort of hindsight, I guess, to look at it with, but I am really excited to finally read this, and I think at the very least it'll be very powerful. The last book that I'm reading for this vlog is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is a rom-com style book. I've heard the smut in this is pretty good, but it's an adult contemporary romance following Chloe Brown, who is a Black woman living in England, and I think she has some sort of chronic illness, and so she deals with a lot of chronic pain. I've heard that the chronic pain and chronic illness rep in here is really good. And I think at the beginning of this book, something happens and she has a near-death experience, and she decides that she hasn't really lived at all during her life. So she creates this list, I think, of things that she wants to do. So she moves out and does all this stuff because she wants to get a life, essentially. And then I don't remember who her love interest is. He's a handyman with tattoos, a motorcycle, and more sex appeal than 10,000 Hollywood heartthrobs. So I know this is the first book in a trilogy of contemporary romances. It's like a standalone trilogy thing where each one follows a different sister. Feels like everyone in the world has read these except for me, so I'm very excited to finally be reading these. Typically, I don't like to start series in these videos, but I'm making an exception because this is a series of standalones. So that's why I'm reading this instead of something else. I've also mentioned this. I did this with Kira Foster's, or books that Kira Foster gave 5 stars. I do it the way that I do it. Let me explain how I do it first, I guess. The way that I pick the books that I'm going to read for these vlogs is I go through the person I'm going to read their 5-star books. I go through your 5-star books on Goodreads and I look for ones that I already have shelved as TBR because that either means that I own them or that I'm really interested in reading them already, because I don't want to read things that I'm not interested in reading in case I won't like it. Because the point of this is hopefully that I will like the same books that they do, or to see if our tastes align. I also like to read a variety of genres from them. So for this, I have historical fiction, adult contemporary romance, and YA contemporary. Like I mentioned, I am about 50 pages into this, which means I've read from the first 2 perspectives, and we're just gonna keep it pushing with the next perspective. I'm curious to see how I'll feel about this, because I am not traditionally a very character-driven reader. I am more of a plot-driven reader. However, I have been known to like a slice of life book, like Sally Rooney's Conversations with Friends, which again, I read for that Kira Foster vlog. I did not expect to like, because I'm not super character-driven, and that's basically a story about the characters. But I ended up really loving it. So I'm curious to see how I will feel about this. Also, please ignore the state of my nails. I'm in the process of removing my nail polish and then I got distracted. Also, please ignore that my hair is like green and splotchy. And if you look at the back, I did a strand test of this gray dye and it's purple. So I'm glad I didn't do my whole head. But if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I've been having like hair dye issues. It's because I over bleached the bottom of my hair. My hair is over processed right now. I've cut off some of it. So if you're noticing that it's shorter, I did get a haircut, but I think I would need to cut it to like here or maybe even higher up to get all of the over processed hair off. And I'm just not going to do that. So it is what it is. I know you probably don't care about my hair, but I just wanted to address the fact that like, yes, I'm aware that it's splotchy and green. If you were curious about what I'm doing with my hair or anything else about my life, you can follow me on Instagram. It's always linked down below. If you don't want to, I get it. I'm just saying. It's about probably like 3:45 on a Tuesday. So it's the day after, what was yesterday? Labor Day. It's the day after Labor Day, which is a holiday in the US. I don't know if they have it other places. I am done with school for the day. I don't think I'm going to read right now, though, because I need to get ready. Well, I already did my makeup and I showered and stuff, but I need to get ready I have an interview for a job. Also, yesterday, for Labor Day, Matt and I went and got Halloween decorations. So we got, well, this ghost we've had, actually. But we got this little guy. He has a candle in it. So I decorated my shelves Halloween-ish. What else Halloween stuff do I have? We have the bring back of this plushie pumpkin with an M on it. I might set her there. I don't know. We got some, I'll show you. We'll take a little rendezvous. We set up this skull, which actually we had last year too. Hold on, it lights up. Okay. Spooky, and I think that changes colors. We got this candle. This is a pumpkin chai. It smells delicious. We also have this ghost that we hung up here with our keychains. And here we hung up our pumpkin and that thing, which is really creepy. This is the other thing we got. So we had this last year as well. We got this mummy statue, which I love. Excuse Matt's pumpkin seeds. Not even pumpkin, they're Old Bay seeds and sunflower seeds. But yes. We got a rug, baby. It's so cute. It kind of clashes with this couch, but truly not as bad as it could have been. And it's like our first adult rug, and it's so nice. But that is it for the intro to this vlog. It's been very long, but I will check in with you when I'm about halfway through homegoing and let you know how it's going. Hello, it's the next day. I've got Murphy here with me, so if you can hear an insane amount of sniffing, I just got home from school, which means that he is obsessed with smelling me. I wanted to update you that I'm over halfway through homegoing, and I'm really enjoying this one. I'm actually like kind of loving it. I don't know what it'll come out to at the end, obviously, because I'm not finished with it yet. And I have a few concerns with its 5-star status. And those concerns are primarily rooted in the fact that we don't get very much time with any of the characters because it's trying to go through so many characters and show the development of each family line. And so I wish that I don't know, like the characters all connect and all the storylines connect and you can see where they have come from, if that makes sense. And sometimes they mention or make mention of like older generations. And it is interesting in that sense, the way in which the generations have split, and the characters that know about their family history and the characters that don't know anything, and what sort of stays with each new member of the next generation, if that makes sense. But I feel like I'm missing out on like character growth and development because we only get a very short, like a span of 25 pages-ish with each of the characters that we interact with. And so I'm curious to see how this will go, because we're almost where I'm at. I'm about 170 pages in, and I think it's about a little over 300 pages in the total of the book. I just realized that this eyebrow is not very well filled in. See how dark this one is? I did not do a very good job on this one. That's fine. You good? Okay. Everything is crazy. But I'm about 170 pages in, and I think I'm on the second to last generation of both, which means, if my calculations are correct, I think we're going to get more time with some of the characters. I don't know which ones. I'm assuming it's going to be the last two characters, because there's a timeline. I mentioned this already. There's like a family tree at the beginning, and so you can sort of track how many characters you're going to be reading from perspectives of, if that makes sense. And where I'm at, I'm 170 pages in, and I'm on like the second to last branch of the tree, I think. So theoretically, that means I should be getting more time with the last branch of the tree than I got with any of the previous branch. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm like really wrong. I don't know how this is going to go. This update has been all over the place. I came here to tell you that I'm really enjoying it, and my only nitpicky complaint is that I wish I got more time with the characters so that I could see them grow and develop. And the other thing I was going to say is, by virtue of only getting a short snippet from each perspective, there are some perspectives that I like more than others. There are some storylines that I enjoy more than others, and I'm hoping that these all connect in a way that is satisfying to read about. But I'm now going to go heat up my lunch. And then I will check in with you when I finish this. I'm hoping to finish this tonight because Matt's going out with some friends and I'm going to do reading sprints. So my goal is to finish this tonight, and then I will check in with you, of course, with my final thoughts when I do finish it. Okay, hello. It's the next day, actually, I think from the last time I checked in. And I just wanted to update you and let you know. See my dog's running around? I just wanted to update you and let you know that I did finish Homegoing yesterday. I haven't decided on a star rating yet. I really, really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought the storytelling was really incredible. I loved that each of the perspectives felt like their own voice, which I feel like can sometimes be a problem when you have so many, that some of them feel like repeats, but none of them really did. My still only complaint, I guess I have two now. My biggest complaint isn't really that big of a deal, but it's just that because of the way in which the story was written, and because of the length of the novel and the sheer amount of perspectives that we got and like people that we followed throughout each of the generations, it felt a little bit like we didn't really get anybody's, we didn't get anyone's full story. We just sort of got a brief overview of these two branches of this family tree as they sort of traversed 300 years through Ghana and then also through the US. And it was really interesting to get to see those different perspectives, and especially the farther away we got from the initial people who were involved in the slave trade. It was really interesting to see that like the further and further Ghana got from being involved in slavery, the way that they sort of were dealing with their own issue of colonialization and stuff like that. Whereas the US branch of that family was dealing with first, slavery, and then incarceration, or slavery, then Jim Crow, and then mass incarceration, and then like slum projects and all of these things that are like still happening. And it was really interesting to see just like the progression of the way in which Black people are treated in this country. I thought it was really well done, and I also thought it was really interesting to get to see the two sides, the people who never left continental Africa and the people who were forced to come to the US and sort of what happened to their family lines. But I have to go to school. The only other thing I wanted to say is yesterday I went and got coffee with one of my friends in law school, and he studied history and African American studies in undergrad, and he said he studied abroad in Ghana. And so I thought that was so cool because, like, we weren't talking about this book, but he was just like, we were talking about, I guess, our study abroad, because I was saying that I studied abroad in Argentina, and he was like, oh yeah, I studied abroad in Ghana. And I was like, wait. So then we talked about it for a minute. He hasn't read Homegoing, but I just thought it was so interesting because I'd never, prior to reading this book, I didn't know anything about Ghana really. And so it was interesting to hear him talk about, like, going to visit Ghana and, like, studying abroad there for a summer. And he showed me, like, pictures of them on this, like, nature reserve with, like, monkeys and elephants. It was wild. That being said, I do have to go to school because I have class this morning. Today is, like, my fullest day. So I have, it's really not that much longer than my other days, but Mondays and Thursdays were, like, my longest days because my class, on Monday, my second class starts later than it does the rest of the week, and on Thursdays, my second class lasts longer than it does any other day in the week. And they're both my immigration law classes. Today's clinic day, Monday's class day, but that's what I'm doing today. And then I will check in with you when I decide what I'm reading next. I'm pretty sure I'm going to read The Hate U Give next, just because that's the order I described the books in, and I think that's the order I want to read them in. So I think I'm going to read that next, but I will update you when I'm 50% through that, if I pick that up, or the other book, if I decide to read that instead. Sorry you've been able to see my closet this whole time. I'm going to go. Hello, I'm halfway through with The Hate U Give, so I wanted to give a quick update. My dogs are just going to jump on the couch right after I jump on, apparently. Sorry about that. This, I think I've already talked about it, but it's basically about this black teenager who lives in a poor part of town, but she attends a preparatory school that's like an hour away from where she lives, that is like primarily white and affluent, but she has a scholarship to go there. So she's like stuck between these two worlds. And then to top this all off, one night on the way home from a party, she's driving with one of her friends from her old neighborhood, and a cop pulls him over and shoots her friend. So she watches her friend get shot and killed, and then jumpstarts the plot of the book, basically. That happens in like the first chapter. Also, that's in the blurb, so that's basically what the book is about. I'm really enjoying this. It does have a lot of pop culture references, which I don't always love in my books. I just feel like it dates them a lot. So there's a lot of talk about like people doing the nae-nae, which is a popular dance. I'm not going to explain what that is. People dabbing. It also has a lot of like, they talk about Harry Potter. That seems to be like the one thing that a lot of authors of, especially YA, will talk about, because I think it's something that a lot of us grew up with. It's fine. But it's fine for me. I didn't like it at first, but as I've been reading it, I'm sort of realizing that this book is set in such a particular time anyways, that it's almost like the pop culture references are like cultural references to sort of explain when we are, which obviously this was a contemporary when it was written, and it's still technically contemporary. It could have happened now, but it seems like it happened at the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement, or perhaps even before the Black Lives Matter movement occurred, which I believe it started in 2014. I could be wrong about that. That's the first thing that I remember, I guess. All of that to say, it almost feels like the pop culture references are for that purpose, and for that reason, I don't really mind it. Those are my like initial thoughts. I'm really enjoying this. I wanted to let you know that I am listening to it as an audiobook, because I did get the audiobook when I took my dogs on their afternoon walk. So I read most of it. I'm around chapter 13 now, which is again about the halfway mark, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. But Star she's sort of fighting with this idea that she doesn't really want to become a public figure and speak on behalf of her friend Khalil, who was shot by the police. And she's worried about sort of retaliation and the way people will view her for having witnessed it. And also, obviously, that's a really traumatic thing to go through. And she went through a similar trauma when she was much, much younger. So it's like bringing back memories of that, of another friend of hers that has died. So it's really interesting that it explores all of that. And I also really enjoy the way that it's sort of portraying her home life and her family is described. Sorry that my dogs are kicking the table that my camera is on, which is why it just shook a little bit. But I'm hopefully gonna read, I want to finish this weekend, If I don't finish it today, though, it probably won't get done until Sunday. It's Friday. I don't know if I mentioned that. But just because I'm having friends come to town this weekend, and it's a really big football game. So I go to Arkansas. We're big Arkansas fans. And they're playing Texas, like UT. And so a lot of my friends are coming to town for that game. And they're going to stay at our house. So there's just like a lot of stuff that needs to be done in order for that to work. I cannot believe how loud these dogs are being. Guys! Come here. Can you shut up? Hey, chill out. My God. My goodness. Come here. Come here. But anyways, so I'm having friends come to town, so I don't think I'm going to read it all tomorrow. But hopefully I will get this done this weekend, so then I can pick up the last book and finish this vlog.
If you set yourself on fire, I never let you burn. I would smoke you till my lungs hurt and love you till I'm dirt. Oh, I'm not sure where all this goes. What I do know is I'll never let you go. When my world is falling apart, you're always there first. When I felt like I could give up, you showed me my worth. I'd follow you into that desert, and if worst came to worst, I would fight off all your monsters. Yeah, I would break the curse. Oh, I'm not sure where all this goes. What I do know is I'll never let you go. When my world is falling apart, you're always there first. When I felt like I could give up, you showed me my worth. When my world is falling apart, you're always there first. When I felt like I could give up, you showed me my worth.
Hello, it's Monday. I'm about to leave for school, but I wanted to update the vlog really quick. That I did finish The Hate You Give on Saturday, actually. I wound up getting around to reading this Saturday morning, so I have finished it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. There were some things about the way that the ending wrapped up that I didn't find either the most realistic or like the most helpful today. I know this book wasn't written that long ago, but it does kind of feel like if the author had written it even now, like what, 3-4 years later. When was this written? My library got it 2018, so I'm gonna assume it was a 2017 or 2018 release. I just feel like if it was written now, it would have a different, it would like end differently. I think the way that we think about correcting police brutality now is different than it was even in 2018. So I did finish this. I did really enjoy this. I do think this is a really important book to read, and it's very interesting. Interesting is the wrong word. I think this is a really important book to read. It's a really engaging book to read, and it definitely like reads true to teenagers. I think a lot of YA books don't read like teenagers are the main characters. They either read a little too young or they read too mature, and you're kind of just confused as to like what is happening. And also, so many YA books don't involve parents in any way. This book did a really good job of involving parents, sibling relationships. It was like, it wasn't like the YA books where the kids can go and do these things because no one is watching them, if that makes sense, because that's not very realistic either. So I thought it was realistic in a lot of ways. I just think if it was written today, it would be written differently. And then I'm reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I am 155 pages in, so not quite halfway, but I am really enjoying it. I've mentioned before that in order for me to really enjoy a romance, I tend to have to like the love interest and be like attracted to one of the love interests, which I don't think I am in this case, but I'm still liking it. Like, Red is an artist. He's also a superintendent at Chloe's building, and he hasn't like sold any of his paintings since he got out of this really abusive relationship. And so it's sort of, that's his like struggle thing. He also has like a motorcycle and all this sort of stuff. And then Chloe has fibromyalgia, chronic pain, migraines, etc. And so she has a really hard time just doing things. And then also she needs a lot of grace from people. And I think when she first got diagnosed, she didn't get that kind of grace from the people who she was friends with. Pretty much except for her sisters and her family. She didn't feel like people were willing to, you know, find somewhere comfortable for her to sit down when she was tired or whatever. And so because of that, she sort of stopped trying to explore relationships with people who weren't her family members. And so their whole relationship is sort of going off of each other having to relearn how to trust another person, kind of. Nothing romantic has happened, really. You know that Red finds her very attractive, and you know that she finds him really attractive, but I'm enjoying this. I don't know if I'm going to end up giving it 5 stars, although I might. I've heard a lot of people love this series. I have a feeling this one won't be my favorite one, because there are 3, but I'm really enjoying it. All that to say, I feel like this camera angle has been weird this whole time, but I'm not going to fix it now. So I'm going to go to school, and I will see you later. Hello. It is that time again. It is time to wrap up this vlog. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs chewing in the background. They're in here with me in my bedroom, but I just gave them treats, and so they're like munching. But I wanted to come on here finally and give you my final thoughts on all 3 of the books that I read for this vlog. I have my RBG mug that my mom got me for Christmas or my birthday last year. I don't remember, but it says women belong in all places where decisions are being made. So, yes, we do love that. Okay, the first book that I read for this vlog, it just as a recap, was Homegoing by Ya Jessie. I gave this 5 stars. I thought this book was amazing. My only negative about this was how short the sections were. Let me back up and tell you what it's about again, just as a recap, because I know this is going to be a long vlog. Marvel, do you want to say hi? Pause. Oh, we got a little buddy here. Are you falling? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't look me in the face. It's disgusting. Oh, hi Murph. Oh, okay. Homegoing by Ya Jessie is a multi-generational family story following 2 branches of the same family that starts off in Ghana in the late 18th century. And one side of this family ends up going into the slave trade with the British, and the other side of this family ends up getting sold into slavery. And then you're following the descendants of those people who made their choices, or etc., had choices thrust upon them, I suppose. But what I thought this book was really, really interesting and really, really well done. It was also one of those stories that I feel like we don't get very much of. And what this book did a really good job of touching on is the fact that so many Black Americans whose family members and ancestors came over on slave ships have no idea how to trace that family because they were sold away from their family members. So it was really interesting the way that the author covered that. This book was really well done. I would definitely recommend this one to pretty much anyone. It is really hard to read at times. It's very hard hitting, but super, super good. I'm so glad that I read this. Gosh, I have the hiccups. The next book that I read for this was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which is a YA contemporary set around the start of the Black Lives Matter movement. I guess it's set at the time that it was written. It feels not historical fiction, but it definitely feels like it was set in a place and time because of the way in which Angie Thomas incorporates pop culture references and references to dance styles that were common at the time, references to songs that were popular. It's just really, it's full of pop culture references, which I don't always love. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I do think this is a really important book, but I did mention, I think while I was reading it, that I think truly that if this book had even been written like in 2020 or 2021 rather than 2016, 2017, I think it would have had a different outcome. Not necessarily in all aspects of it, but I do think that certain parts that happen at the end would not have happened the way that they did. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you like mark your comment as spoiler if you want to know what I'm talking about, I might put it in my Goodreads review under like a spoilers tag thing or whatever. I haven't been very great at writing writing Goodreads reviews that are really thorough, but I just think that there are certain parts of this book that maybe would not have happened, and I think that other people have mentioned that as well. Specifically Ashley from Bookish Realm. I'll link her channel down below. I don't remember what video she was talking about it in, but I hadn't read this book at the time, so I didn't really know what she was talking about, but I think we were thinking the same thing. So, this was really good though, and I do recommend it. Also, I think that the, like, portrayal of a teenage girl was done really well here. I feel like so often in YA, teenagers feel either too young or they feel too old, and Star felt like she was 16, 17, however old she was supposed to be. Like, she felt the age that she was, which I think is kind of rare. But yes, I definitely did enjoy this one, gave it 4 stars. The last book that I read for this vlog was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the first book in the Brown Sisters trilogy. It's a series of standalones. They're all adult contemporary romances, and they follow each of the Brown sisters. This follows Chloe Brown, who has fibromyalgia, and so she really has been sort of sheltering herself since her diagnosis. And then at the beginning of the book, she goes through a near-death experience. And so she makes this list of things that she wants to do because she wants to get a life, because she wants something to flash before her eyes if she ever has a near-death experience again. And she enlists the help of the handyman in her building, or the superintendent, I guess, Red, who has red hair and his name is Red, and I don't really want to talk about it, but she gets Red to help her with some items on this list, because he has a motorcycle, and one of the items on her list is to ride a motorcycle. They have a romance. There's, of course, a third act breakup. There are a few things that this book didn't do quite the way I would have wanted it to, and it's why it got 4 stars rather than 5. The first one is that I never really felt like the chemistry clicked for me. I was sort of along for the ride and waiting for the chemistry to kick in, and then the characters were in their heads, of course, not like out loud to each other, talking about loving the other person, and I just didn't get it. And so for that reason, I felt like the smut was decent, and the, like, their relationship wasn't problematic. It wasn't really like it was a good relationship. I just felt like the chemistry was kind of off, and I think that's all I can really, like, sort of say about that, I guess. But the other thing that this book sort of didn't handle the way that I would have liked it to be handled was the third act breakup. Every romance pretty much has a third act breakup. Are you good? You wacko. Isn't he cute? My sweet boy. Oh, yes, so good. Anyways, I'll sit like this. This is fine. The third act breakup in this was not as good as other third act breakups I've had. So I knew from the beginning what it was going to be. Just based on things that happened and the way that the story was going. It took a really long time to get there, which I didn't love. I think it happened like 28 pages before the end of the book, which is fine. Like, sometimes they happen really late. But I just felt like the author almost didn't need to put it in. And I think the story would have been you would have just been like, oh, okay, what's going on? But I feel like the characters worked through enough that maybe if we stretched out them working through certain things a little bit more, rather than just having them have this third act, like, disaster situation, it just didn't feel paced right to me for whatever reason. So I gave this 4 stars because I really enjoyed my time reading it. There were just a couple of things that I was like, not super sold on, if that makes sense. I do want to keep reading those. Oh my god, I hate this toy. Look at this. Can I have this? It's a furry. Like, we have a couple of them because Matt's sister got us. I guess we only have 2. She got one for Marvel and one for Murphy, but Marvel doesn't really eat plush toys. He likes these tiny dinosaurs that we have, and that's like the only plush toy that he'll eat. Otherwise, he just likes to play this tennis ball, which is totally not what we're supposed to be talking about. It's fine. But I just wanted to sort of shout out Murphy's ugly toy. But that's it for this vlog. Those are the 3 books that Serena gave 5 stars, that I gave 5, 4, and 4 stars to, which I'm pleased with, you know? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I don't know if I've mentioned this at any point. I will have Serena's details linked down below. Please go give her like a follow on Instagram or a YouTube follow. Subscribe to her on YouTube. What am I trying to say? She's great. She makes really good content. I really enjoy it. I will have everything that I've mentioned in this vlog at this point. I can't remember because it's been like a week. Linked down below for your perusal. Let me know if you've read any of these books and how you felt about them. Also, let me know if you have another YouTuber who you think I would enjoy books that they enjoy, and I will do the same style of video with their 5-star reads. Yeah, thank you so much for watching if you made it to this point. And if you have not yet, please subscribe to my channel. I do post 2 videos every single week. Primarily bookish content, sometimes some other things, sometimes talk about law school or whatever else is going on. But yeah, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! What are you doing? Do you want to go for a walk? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Do you want to go for a walk? You want to go for a walk? Okay.
I should have told you